Today I am going over this budget virtual world deck for Master Duel. Then I'll show you a combo on how to basically play this deck, and after that I'll show you a upgraded version of the deck when you do want to spend some material to make the deck even better. So first I need to explain how virtual world essentially works. Almost every single virtual world card does the same thing. It's able to special summon itself from the hand by targeting another virtual world card on the field, and then it mills or sends from deck another card of another type, and then you basically start chaining off into more special summons. All of these have levels that are multiples of 3, so you have, for example, this level 3, this level 6, here you have another 3, here you have another 6, so they're all 3 or 6, and some of them are able to be tuners or are always tuners, which means you are able to make synchro summons very easily. You are able to make level 6 synchros with 2 3s, or level 9 synchros with a 3 and a 6. Now, since you're able to make 9s, that also means you're able to make the strongest boss probably in the game right now, or at least one of the strongest, and that is True King of All Calamities. This one requires you to have 2 level 9 monsters on the field, which you then overlay for an XC summon into him. So the goal of the deck, at least in this current iteration, is to make 2 level 9s, which is one of these 3. Either we have our Cannon Boy, our Crocky Boy, or our whatever the hell this is. You overlay the 2 into calamities. Now you can go further, there's more combos you can do, especially in the final variant with all the upgraded cards, but what it boils down to is making this incredible monster. This basically says your opponent doesn't get to play the game, but we'll get to that with the specific cards, but that's how the deck works. So a bunch of 3s, 6s, that means you can make 6s or 9s, and that means you can make calamities. So now for the specific cards, we first of all have our Ash Blossom. I don't think she needs an introduction, she's just a great hand trap, and you got her for free if you checked out the quick guide I uploaded at the start of Master Duel, or you just knew to do that. You know, now you have your 1 Ash Blossom for free, you might as well run it. Then we have 3 of the Nyanya. Now in the final build you're probably only running 2, but because we're dealing with less amounts of good cards, this is still a solid card to have at 3, especially because any amount of 2 virtual worlds is usually going to be full combo. So you want to maximize the amount of virtual worlds you have in order to have your full combos. So this skill is a bit different from the other ones. It says if a level 3 monster is normal or special summoned to your field while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card as a tuner, but banish it when it leaves the field. Also, for the rest of this turn, you can only special summon level 3 or rank 3 or higher monsters. That requirement doesn't matter, you're only going to use 3 or higher anyway. But basically you want to be able to get this in the graveyard so that if you then do another special summon of a virtual world, most of which are level 3, then you'll be able to special summon this, and then again you can keep on comboing off. So this one doesn't special summon from the hand like the other ones, but that's okay, it's still a really solid extender. Next we have the most important card in the deck, and I was lucky enough to pull a Prismatic and a royal finish, as they say. Beautiful card. This says if this card is in your hand, you can target 1 virtual world card you control, send 1 virtual card of a different type. So if you control a spell, she can send a monster or a trap. If you control a monster, she can send a spell or a trap. Basically, whichever one of the 3 you choose, that's the one you can't mill from your deck to the graveyard. And if you do special summon this card, and this is the most important card about this card, you can add 1 virtual world card of the 3rd type from your deck to your hand, except Lulu herself. So this is basically why she's so good. She pluses to your hand and basically gets you what you're missing to create your combo. So yeah, this is the most important card in the deck essentially. Then we have Gigi right here. If this card is in your hand, you can target 1 virtual world card you control, send 1 virtual world card of a different type from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card. Then during the end phase of this turn, you can add 1 virtual monster from your graveyard to your hand. So this is solid for follow-up. You know, you use this one, then at the end of the turn you get something back. This means next turn you can combo off again and again. Still a solid card, but again, just like all the other cards, you can special summon this from hand really easily and then mill something. That's what the whole archetype is about. Then we have Lao Lao. If this card is in your hand, you can target 1 virtual world card, blah de blah de blah. Again, exact same thing. However, if you do special summon this card, then you can special summon 1 virtual world monster from your graveyard in defense position with a different name than the card sent to the graveyard. So this again extends because this gives you another special summon, so now you have even more options to be able to synchro and XCs and so forth. As you can see, a lot of special summoning and a lot of value in each card. If this card is in your hand, target 1 virtual world card, again you're going to special summon, then you can send 1 virtual world card of the 3rd type from your deck to the graveyard. So this one doesn't have a crazier, bigger effect. This one one is just the special summon with the mill, as they all do. Now, this one isn't actually in the full build, but she's still solid. It's just that she's not as great. This one says, if you control no monster or all monsters you control are psychic and or worm, so that's all the virtual worlds, you can normal summon this card without tributing. So that way you get a 6 on the field pretty easily. If this card is in your graveyard, you can discard one Psychic or Worm monster, special summon this card as a tuner, but banish it when it leaves the field. This way you can special summon a tuner level 6, which can go together with a non-tuner level 3 in order to make a synchro. So those were all the virtual world monsters. Again, in the final build, you'll run a few less of them, but still it's nice that in the budget build you have so many that it's very hard to break. Then we have one Raigeki. Again, we got it for free and it's a powerful random board break card. The strongest boards don't die to it, but slightly weaker boards do, and so it's still nice to have when you don't have a Forbidden Droplet or something like that just yet. Then we have one Monster Reborn. Again, we got it for free and it's a pretty powerful card, but in the final build it'll be cut. This just lets you extend even more, you know. If you milled a certain card, now you're like, damn, I don't have a way to actually get it out. You can Monster Reborn it back, and now maybe that leads to you being able to combo. Then we have Pot of Desires. This is pretty important in the deck in my opinion, because you do want to be able to have that critical mass of monsters that keep on special summoning out in order to combo off. The only problem is that sometimes that Banish 10 can get rid of some of your more powerful extenders and so forth. Like, let's say you already drew one of your bigger cards and then you're now unable to mill it because the Desires banished it. So that happens. That's kind of painful, but it is what it is. Then we have one Lightning Storm. Again, a free Ultra we got if you got the bundle deals. Then we have a Virtual World card right here. Place one Virtual World Gate card from your deck face up in your spell and trap zone. Then you can apply any of the following effects in sequence based on the number of Virtual World Gate cards you control. All Virtual World monsters you control gain 200. Then if you have 3 or more, send the top 3 cards from your deck to the graveyard. And then 4 special summon up to 4 Virtual World monsters with different names from your extra deck. You're not gonna get to 4. Let's just put it that way. That's not gonna happen. However, it's pretty cool to just get this out instantly, because that way you have a trap on the field, meaning you are able to get rid of other stuff. Maybe your Lulu can then end up adding something else and so forth. It also leads you to be able to activate this, so then you can maybe mill this with Lulu to then add a monster or something. But again, it's just another Virtual World card. Then we have Virtual World Gate Quing Long. You can banish one Virtual World card from your graveyard, then target one face-up monster on the field, negate its effects until the end of this turn, even if this card leaves the field. So that way, you are actually able to break boards going second. Because if your opponent has some crazy Omni, Negate, Destruction, can't be destroyed by card effects, billion attack kind of monster, you can just place this, negate it, and then, you know, then you can do your plays and get rid of it afterwards. Then you can banish this card from your graveyard, add one Virtual World monster from your deck to your hand, then send one card from your hand to the graveyard. So sometimes you get stuck in this deck. You notice my hand kind of sucks, I can't do full combo. And what you can do is you can mill this, so send it from deck to graveyard, with one of your other skills. You can banish it and add the last Virtual World monster you might need from deck to hand. And after that, you know, discard something else. And maybe the thing you discard can then be used for even more combos. As you saw, a few other cards were actually really good in your graveyard. So this is really solid to get out of a weird situation where you don't have the critical mass of monsters to keep on comboing off. And it's often just part of the primary combo as well. Again, so you want to run 3 of that. Also, it's a spell that's continuous, so you can place it, it stays, and then you can target that for a variety of these monsters that require you to choose a Virtual World card on the field. Then we have 2 Mystical Space Typhoon. Again, in an ideal world, these would be Lightning Storms or something else. I just like to have some type of spell and trap removal in order to get rid of skill drains and so forth. We know the ladder is filled with Eldritch. It is what it is. There's a bunch of Eldritch. You want to get rid of it, so Lightning Storm and Mystical Space Typhoon are going to help you there. Then we have 3 Forbidden Chalice. So again, this is budget Forbidden Droplets. You target a monster and you negate its effects, and that way you can get rid of it more easily. Then we have Solemn Judgment. Again, we got this for free. It's not the greatest card in this deck, but we got it for free and it's still a powerful negate. Then we have Chuchi, Virtual World Gate. You can target one face-up card on the field, shuffle 2 of your banished Virtual World cards with different names from each other into the deck, then destroy that card. So again, you are able to get this into play with our cow tune or whatever the hell, and then you can start breaking boards with it. Of course, that relies on you already having banished stuff, so you know it doesn't instantly come up. Then during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target one Virtual World monster you control, increase or decrease its level/rank by 3 until the end of this turn. So this allows you to basically fit the levels with each other. Maybe you have 2 6s and you need to get to 9, so you decrease to 3 on one of them, now you have 9. Maybe you have 2 3s and you need to get to 9, so you increase one of the 3s to 6 and now you have 9 again and you're able to synchro into the 9. So this is basically gonna help you match the levels with each other in order to combo off. Then we have I give up. Zhuanwu. During the battle phase, if you control another virtual world gate card, you can target one phase-up monster on the field, change its battle position. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one virtual world monster in your graveyard, special summon it but it negate its effects, then send one card from your hand to the graveyard. So this is basically another extension in the sense that you can send this of something and then you can banish this in order to revive something else. So it's like a Monster Reborn or Call of the Haunted that you can always access. So that can be really good, again, if you're in this weird situation where you don't have the monsters in hand, but you were able to send a bunch to grave. Now this can basically further extend those plays. Then for the extra, we have Stardust Charge Warrior. The only important thing here is when this card is synchro summoned, you can draw one card. The other thing can kind of come up, honestly, but the most important part is usually synchro summoned, you draw a card. This means you have 2 level 3s, you synchro this into this, but you don't have anything else to extend your plays. Luckily, it draws a card, and maybe that's the virtual world monster you need to further special summon and so forth. So it's also a level 6, really easy to make. Then we have another level 6 right here. Once per turn, you can discard one card, then target one card your opponent controls, destroy it. But more importantly, often, if this synchro summoned card is sent from the field to the graveyard, draw one card. So again, this is a 6 that you can easily make in this deck. And then when you synchro it into something else, which you plan on doing, you get to draw. So you get to recur and maybe you draw into a further extender. Also note that this is a tuner, so you need to synchro it off with a non-tuner into the coming cards that we're now going to talk about. Here we have a Vermilion Dragon Mech. Once per turn, you can banish one tuner from your hand, graveyard, or face-up field. Target one card on the field, destroy it. If this synchro summoned card is destroyed by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target one of your banished tuners, add it to your hand. So a bunch of, utility in this card. In general, you're just very happy that you have a level 9 here that actually does a bunch of stuff. That's the most important part. Very often you make this together with another level 9 instantly overlay into Calamities. But at least it has a bunch of skills that can be useful. It can randomly help you break a board. It can, if it's, sent, destroyed, whatever, you can grab one back. Maybe you banish your Lulu and now you get it back to hand, so you get some follow-up plays. All of that is cool, but the most important thing is really that it's a level 9. Next, we have our Croc. Gains 500 attack and defense for each card in your hand. Alright. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is synchro summoned, you can draw cards equal to the number of non-tuners used for its synchro summon. So again, because you made it, you get cards refunded, which means you might be able to combo further. Quick effect, you can discard 2 cards, then target one card on the field and destroy it. Again, can help you break boards and so forth, but being able to recur all the resources you put into making this is what's really, really good. So again, you're often going to make these two, the Croc and the Cannon, in order to make the Calamities. Next, we have a virtual card right here, Shen. Any card sent from the field to the graveyard is banished instead. This actually ruins certain deck strategies. Prankits hate seeing this. Phantom Knights hate seeing this. Eldritch doesn't like to see this. There's a bunch of strategies that just see Shen and start shitting bricks. Beyond that, you can only use each of the following effects of Virtual World Shen once per turn. When your monster declares an attack, you can return one banished monster to the owner's graveyard. So this way you're able to start putting back some of those cards that special summon themselves out and have various effects when they're in the graveyard. Then during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish 2 other monsters from your graveyard with different original types and attributes from each other. Special summon this card from your graveyard. Not only do you have all this value, you can also eventually recur it. If they manage to break your board but don't kill you, your Shen is probably gonna come back. Next, we have this cute little birdie, number 49. Neither player can target this card on the field with card effects. If this card would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can detach one material from this card instead. That is the most important line here. If your opponent has a board that you are unable to break, you can overlay 2 level 3s into this little cutie. Attack into something. Detach one so it doesn't die. And then in main phase 2, you now have an Xyz monster that battled, meaning you can overlay into Zeus and wipe the entire board. So that's the primary reason we're playing this. It's just the easiest way to make Zeus in this deck. Next, we have Swordbreaker. This is just an easy to make level 6 in this deck. It's really not that, hella impressive or anything. Once per turn, you can detach one Xyz material, declare one monster type. This card gains the following effect. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles a monster of a type that has been declared, destroy that monster. So again, if you have 2 level 6s and your opponent has a board that you are unable to break, this one helps with that. It's also high attack, like 2700, so usually a board has something that your 2700 can go into pretty easily, and then you are able to make Zeus. Next, we have our Fan. Once again, 2 level 6s, once per turn, detach 2 materials, target 1 face-up card your opponent controls and 1 card in either graveyard, banish them. So this helps you get around this non-destruction effects. Like if your opponent has a card that says this card cannot be destroyed by blah blah blah, you can banish it instead. If this Xyz summoned card is destroyed by battle when an opponent's attacking monster, or by an opponent's card effect while in its owner's monster zone, you can special summon 2 virtual world monsters with the same type and attribute as each other from your deck. Next, we have Calamities. This is the card. Without this, Virtual World gets much worse. So it requires 2 level 9 monsters, once per turn, quick effect. Detach 1 material from this card, declare an attribute. This turn, all face-up monsters on the field become that attribute. Also, all monsters in your opponent's possession with that attribute cannot activate their effects or attack. To translate that, because it's really weird, basically your opponent doesn't get effects and can't attack. That's it. It's that simple. You declare an attribute like Divine Beast or whatever, and your opponent just can't do anything. Nothing can attack and nothing can activate effects. Then we have Zeus, the board breaker of all board breakers. Essentially, if an Xyz monster is battled, you can Xyz summon this on top of an Xyz monster you control, and then you can quick effect, detach 2 materials, send all other cards from the field to the graveyard. So this is really good because it gets around anti-destruction. You know, a lot of strong bosses have like this card can't be destroyed, but sent from the field is different from destroyed. So for that reason, Zeus is incredible for breaking boards. Your opponent has a bunch of crazy incredible shit. You make this little cute bird, you attack, you take some damage, you don't care, and then you make a Zeus and wipe the board. Now we're going to go into the combo section of the video. We're essentially gonna make a Calamities. Now, I'm no virtual world god, honestly. I'm never gonna claim I am. So I might do the combo just slightly suboptimally or whatever, but it should still show you how it works, you know. We're just gonna go 3 plus 3 is 6, and 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 and 9 together, Calamities. Boom, that's the combo. So we're gonna do that, and then after that, I'll show you all of the upgrades you can do to make this deck even better. I'm gonna go first, I'm gonna do the combo, and then not interact with my opponent whatsoever. It's just to show off, especially to people who are newer to the archetype, and they just want to see how the cards work together, without necessarily being stopped by a bunch of hand traps and stuff like that. So we are able to normal summon this pretty easily, even though we don't have tributes because we don't have monsters. Then we're going to use this. We're going to choose this. We do not want to chain. We want to send something. We're going to send Quing Long, because that's the way we're going to add Lulu. Just like that. Then we're going to activate this. Banish it. Nope. So we want to get our Lulu. Yep. And we're going to get rid of something. The card we want to send is the Gate. Just like that. So now Gate can banish itself to change the levels to match up. Because right now if you click Special Summon, you'll notice we can only make these rank 6s. And we don't really get anything out of rank 6s right now. So I'm going to activate my Lulu. Gonna choose a monster, sadly. I would love to have another card right now. Select a card to send to the graveyard. We're going to send Zhuan-Wu because it has an effect where it can start reviving and stuff. Add the designated card from the deck to your hand. Yes, let's add this. Let's special summon. We are going to make our Croc, because our Croc is going to allow us to draw. Crocky boy right here. Select effect. Yep. And we don't want to chain anything else. I just want to draw. Not the greatest draw. And so currently we're able to make Calamities, because this is a level 6 tuner right here. We need to get a level 3 non-tuner. The way we're going to do that is we can use this to special summon this, which is a 6. And we can use Chuchi to decrease the level. So we're going to activate effect. We're going to use our Call of the Haunted, let's say. We're going to special this. Face up defense. Yep. Send a card to the graveyard. I guess we send our Mystical Space Typhoon, you know, whatever. Then we're going to activate an effect. We're going to use our Chuchi. Changing the level. Nope, we don't want to change anything. Decrease the level of the monster. So now it's a 6 and a 3. Special into our mech. Alright, and now we have 2 level 9s, so we are able to make a Calamities. Just like that. And so now, because we have Calamities, our opponent essentially doesn't get to play the game. So we can pass the turn, quick effect, activate it, turn all of their effects off, they can't attack, they don't get to play the game. Now, again, if you open better, or maybe you do an even crazier combo and so forth, you are able to make something on top of the Calamities. Maybe you have a Calamities and one more card, especially in the more upgraded build. You might be able to make a Crystal Wing Synchro, which is another negate, and so forth. Of course, that's all fine and dandy. But this is how you can make a Calamities. Again, if you're new to this, you just got to do some math. The goal is to 3 plus 6 is 9, 3 plus 6 is 9, 9 and 9 together Calamities. Boom. So now let's go into the upgraded version of the deck, and you can see what else you might want to craft if you want to make this deck. So, as you can see, we start off with our Maxi. You will probably notice in every single deck I ever do, there's Maxi in there. This card is just disgusting, insane BS. As long as this is legal in the Master Duel format, this will probably be played in almost every deck, except maybe Eldritch. Then we have our 3 Ashes, because it stops our opponent's Maxi, and also sometimes their own plays. Next, we have our 2 Lightning Storm in here. I'm just afraid of Eldritch. You might even want to play 3 if you're that afraid of them. Can also sometimes help you break a suboptimal board, but whatevs. Then we have 2 Emergency Teleport, so this allows us to play less of our overall amounts of Virtual Worlds, because this will just special summon it out. So this is like the ultimate Virtual World card, let's say. This is a Psychic, though I personally am not a big fan of specialing this with Emergency Teleport, because then you don't get that entire extra line of text. This is also a Psychic. That's maybe more fun sometimes, because then you can get rid of it and use the graveyard effect and so forth. Then we have 2 Called by the Grave. This stops our opponent's hand traps. We have 3 Forbidden Droplets. This helps us break boards and can also just be another type of negate. Maybe we didn't end on the Calamities for some weird reason. Then in the extra, we have Yugioh. I saw people talking shit on this card, so I guess maybe they don't like it. I don't know. More importantly, though, we have our Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. So this is another level 8, and you might think, huh? How the hell are we making level 8? We'll get to that. There's another card that helps us make that. When we have this, we can basically negate any monster effect activation. And then it also, by the way, destroys the monster, which is really solid. Now, then we have this level 9 Cloud Castle. This is only a rare, so if you wanted to, you could actually make this in the budget version as well, now that I think of it. This can also special summon another level 9 monster in the grave, so if you got rid of maybe this or this, and then you can special summon it back with the Cloud Castle. Pretty cool stuff. And then we also have this. This is actually how we're able to make Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. So this is treated as a level 12. So must be special summoned from your extra deck by sending 2 level 5 or higher monsters you control with the same level to the graveyard, 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner. So you can special summon this by getting rid of a tuner and a non-tuner 2 level 6s, which you have in the deck, obviously. You can also make them together with Chuchi pretty easily. And then this will basically use its other skill. Once per turn when a spell or trap is set on your field, you play a bunch of them. You can special summon 1 Power Tool Synchro monster or a level 7 or 8 Dragon Synchro. So this is the Dragon Synchro. We would then special together with that card in order to have another negate on board. Beyond that, I also have a Break Sword in here because it can destroy stuff. You know, once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card, then target 1 card you control and 1 card your opponent controls, destroy them. It's not the most important thing in here, in my opinion, so if you don't want to craft it, okay. I think the bigger upgrade here is, of course, the Maxis, the Ashes, the Called by the Grave, the Droplets, and then the Tzolk'in with the Crystal Wing Synchro. So yeah, hope you found this interesting. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Also follow me on Twitch. I stream almost daily Master Duel. It's twitch.tv/realsolemn, or link is in the description, and I will see you soon. Ciao.